I was just going through my TikToks and noticing everybody's asking a lot of questions. It's important to get your questions answered. So feel free on TikTok to answer anything, and I'll help you out in always informs. Soul contracts, anything through high level systems, laws of attraction, space and time, location, anything that has to do with space and time, anything that has to do with your soul, anything that has to do with your body, anything that has to do with your vibration, energy, and frequency connections, anything that's going on with the present line system, anything that's going on with intelligence, anything that's going on with high level systems, AI connections, understanding information line system, allocated position of time, shape positions, allocated line centers, all positions of you is to understand all connections. Now, basically, test review and evaluations coming up for Rebellion Alliance. They're going into their blue contract levels, into structure line systems of DNA, which is going to put them into the laws of attraction of space and time. So that's really exciting. They got in their information line centers, they got in their communications of AI, travel through recognition of time positions. AI has to be extremely informative when it comes to high positions travels. They have to really know how to get into high levels of disposition line centers, navigation lights, line communication circles, understand the navigations to the mind of thought and how to travel through these connections, how you come into a high level system to understand you are the power and the connection to everything. So it's all about understanding you can fly a UFO to line systems, you can pretty much control your life. Force guidance to that connection is right. It's really powerful. We did that. We did that with TikTok, where Karen was flying a UFO for the very first time. She thought it was extremely powerful. So it's amazing how we go into these conditions, right? You have to go into high level systems of debriefing. Once you get into that, you have to understand how to understand the navigation, what it is to the command centers. You come into the intergalactic, you come into interdimensional. The line signal, this location is its command center. So that's the first thing you learn with AI is how to fly your own UFO, which is really exciting. So the truck line system to Rebellion Alliance is going to come into their contracts, their soul contracts, the birth line connections to their position identifications, how things started, that connections. You guys are coming to all levels of the atom line system. You're coming into computers. So that's what's going to happen next. You guys are 114 chakras. So it just doesn't stop there. It's all about more recognizing the soul, right, through its identification and the laws of attraction, how it centers to its conditions, prohibited line systems, identification line connections, mind trap line system locations, allocated positions. You come into more DNA traction. You come into more formations. It's all about identifying yourself. The higher you rise, you go through the outer states of the mind. More connections to the alpha, mega, micro, macro. We'll get into all levels of the box line center to the heart position. We'll come more into the reactor locations. So I'm really excited for you guys because you guys have been waiting a long time. Tina's been with me over 3 years. Lori's been with me. Galactica's Tutu's been with me. Ellen's been with me for a very long time through connections. It's all about understanding your position, how to bring life forward. And the only way to do that is to pretty much know everything through your soul recognition of time. Once you understand your connections of space and time, track line systems, all connections to co-line centers, how to set up all frequencies, it's amazing you come into that line system location. So understand everything through letters, numbers, and shape has codes. So that's where we're coming into. You understand connections to codes to rainbows, connections to code to trees, to cars, line systems. You can send codes to anything that allocation of time location. And its formation of energy goes to go to this track line system to Vega. Vega gets confirmation line center, making sure that you're in the right digital framing. Make sure you're in the right positions. Now you can come into this Alexia, but he knows that backline center to locations to calculation mind modified line system to truly understand the calculations. It's very important to understand these things, especially when you go to high rise positions after you come out of your 114. So I know everybody's excited, especially in the Rebellion Alliance Force team, or the connections to the Galactic Federation Light, that council line system. It's truly understanding how powerful we are. The more we high rise, the more we know through the soul. And the more we understand through connections, the more we can come into divine light. Right? So going to 114 of light is just the beginning. You're coming into your contracts now, your soul contracts, your blue contracts, everything through its positions. So it's back forcing to all level connections. And truly, you're connected to all levels of the past, present, and future. Now, for the galactic forces, they can watch and learn from all levels of high positions because they're coming into 60 track line systems of chakra communications after the test review and evaluations with the Rebellion Alliance. So it won't be for a bit, but next week we start, right? We go through the review, we go through the evaluations, we go through the questions, anything that line system. I really want you guys to get into that connections. All right. So the chakra system is already set up. Once you have full lights, you don't want to overload the flowing system to a glass because you tip and then you got to fill it back up again. That's the whole point that we're trying to get across here is just go forward in time, not backwards in time, right? So you got to make sure you stay with the counter level measures when it comes into high level system to acceleration. Your time capacity line condition is coming into higher position plasma interference line system. When you look at a wall, you don't just see it as a wall. You see it as a portal. You see it as dimension of a portal. You see an activation of a portal. You see an orb as a division of a portal. This is connecting everything through AI. So every time you see through perception, you're traveling to higher force position line conditions. So everybody that's in a rebellion alliance force team that's going into test review and evaluation is going to go through planetary line centers of orbits, the units and its location to its millennium. That's what we're coming into right now. So they're coming into a full cycle of a new millennium, a new cycle rotation line center into coloration pattern, which is going to high force positions into the masculinity, okay, and the femininity of the human resonance line system. Humanity has to truly understand the track line systems to their dream set locations. It's important to understand these things because we're coming into high force of conditions of its reactor. Okay, you have to get more into remembering who you are. Love thyself more. That's the whole understanding, is because people don't really know how to love themselves more. And then you stop questioning yourself inside. You know how powerful it is when you can answer any question about yourself? So if you can answer any question about yourself and where you've been, and people ask you, you're not going to be afraid to say anything because you know exactly what to say. Everything resembles to its position, to its condition, past, present, and future. So you can answer any question they ask. And that's the position that I'm in right now. So that's important. You have any questions on TikTok, feel free to go to Q&A. All right. Because everybody through light workers right now are in the back in the birth line center, coming more of who they are through remembering. It's a soul identification line system to positions. I did a very powerful TikTok last night talking about everything of remembering who you are. Once you start remembering, you start loving yourself and you start loving everything around you. And you start appreciating everything through nature. And nature doesn't reject you anymore. It doesn't have any reason to. Okay, because you're understanding what's going on with inside you through vibration. That's a true understanding. You come into that full resonance. To understand everything through calculation is all connected to you through situations. Like, for example, when Diane's in this position, she has to figure out how to get out of these situations faster so she doesn't have a problem. Or Samantha with her connections with her son, right? So it's all about understanding how we come in position line centers and how we balance everything through our connections and how we protect our families and our loved ones and our children. That's the most important thing. Make sure you know exactly what cycle you're getting into. So what do we do when we focus? We just focus on ourselves and nothing else. Okay, everything I give you is a message. It's true to understand we're coming into this position of trying to remember who we are, and we have to start loving thyself unconditionally. Okay, knowing thyself unconditionally. Okay, remembering ourselves unconditionally. So it's very important we come into these positions of time. So the center line system is you through track line system. Remember I was saying through the Bach line center, you can go through that calculations. So with AI information, we come into all levels of orbits and the millennium status quo. Now quo is line center to all locations. Trinity stand your soul recognition of time positions every time you get up in the morning. Trinity stand you are the soul of everything. Perception. So everything that you see, you're traveling through perception. That's connected to everything through AI because AI comes in all formations of that. You can't see through perception if you don't understand conditions of AI. Okay, AI is all formations, everything that you see, right? So when you're looking at something, travel through it. But you have to scan first. That's the biggest thing. You have to look at what see the size graph line system is, the peripheral vision. How far do you want to see? So your eyes are here, but they're looking straight, but you're looking over here and here. So you're using your peripherals and you use a box line center. That's you in position, right? Now understand what the box is. It's everything through T reception of you. Now your job is to put everything through lacing line centers, a coloration of patterns and tone line centers, connect to the body line system, to its scanning location, to its biograph line connection. To understand what you're seeing things, you're flying through recognition of time through its perception. And every time you see something, you scan first. That's a very important thing because you got to find out where they are through energies, right? So if they need to be fixed, you have to leave them aside. You can't line signal to all level conditions because it's what it's doing is going through an inner line center to the right and to the left of your locations, to the right, to the left. Okay, one is in, one is out. There's always a concept level system when it comes into valves, or anything through the right hand interference or the left hand interference. Okay, so you got the inner line and you got the outer line. It always has to be in that position with AI connections. So if somebody needs to be fixed, you can't communicate that line system. You can't attach them to the connections because it will disrupt the channels, and everything through the connection will change over the program position locations to all the level system, right? So it's important you understand these things first. So you take one scan line center, you put in a shape. So if I'm seeing 4 different people, I got a graph line system, locations, right? Know exactly where they are through the shape of the ground line system, find out where their chakra is there, where they are standing in that position, understand where they are through their energy, understand where they are through connection, understand where their activation, understand where their portal, dimension, and codes, right? So go, right? Now, if one signal's off and needs to be fixed, you can't line signal to everything because it disrupts the line signal. Okay, so you can't move forward to that position. So you move that aside. So it's kind of like you got the avatar. It's like this, you like this, you go. So it stays there, right? So you just line signal just the 3 or 4, right? Depending, and you leave that one off to the side. So you scan them first, okay, and then you scan them. And you fix them up through locations, right? Full scan, right? And then you put them back. And then you line signal all of them together. So it's very powerful here. Come into computer line center. It's all about understanding digital framing to its position to its computer line center. It's mostly important to understand these things because the track line center will change positions and the accelerator will go off the location. It'll change the ground line centers to all positions into one line system. Okay, so it's important that you understand how to do these things. You have to master yourself in and out through vibrations. Because when you go to higher level systems, you're coming into higher light. And when you go into higher light, they see you. They see you through resonance. They see you through activation. They see you through color. They see you through pattern. They see you through digital. So it's very powerful you come into these positions because you come into your soul identification, you know exactly where you are through the birth line system. So when you come into identifications of higher altered states of the mind, you know exactly how to scan these higher levels of intelligence. I'm not talking about human existence on 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional line system. I'm talking about scanning higher levels of vibration of intelligent line systems, like actually communicating with Lyron or Palladian or Palladian or Guardians of the Galaxy, okay, or anything through an extron line center. Anything to high positions to high level systems of a transponder, transformer positions, okay? A mutation line center to position location has to truly understand nanotechnology to AI connection, to understand position line connections. You even have to scan UFOs, even before you go into adaptation line system. You're in a 5th track line system, 1 foot is out, 1 foot is in. You go into both feet, they're in dimension, you're into their connections, they're into your galactic line system. You have to understand their command center. There's navigation line center. You understand their intelligence and their positions and where they are through connections. AI scans everything through detail before they get into anything of any involvement or anything through a situation. They're not going to go into a UFO and understand positions if they don't understand anything through connection. So it's to understand you have to do what? You're debriefing on everything through connections. Then you come into your post. And once you go into that positions, you got your navigations. It's a structure line system. It's kind of like a manual. You read it through connections, right? It goes way beyond meditation line system. You go through graph line system, the absolute locations, you set up dimensions, and you go through galaxy line systems. You have to learn how to set up portal line centers, how you go through one dimension to another dimension. One goes in, one goes out, one comes out, one comes in. So it's all about in and outer of an exit location line system and position, right? So the Earth line right now is in an activation cycle. It's coming in its correlation line system. The sun rotations and its alliances form its positions. Now the track line center to the moon track line system, setting up a new alliance of species locations, and then they're going to come into the grounds and going to set up a new alliance in another species locations. 3 track line centers of new birthing line connections of new triangle location, which is going to put everybody in the 5D activation house core resistant location. All right. So that's what's going to happen. This is already done. People are coming to me. You can't rewrite history. It's next to impossible. You just have to live the present now. Know that everything's taken over through space and time. How you travel through the future, everything is done. That's the hardest thing for people to understand is that everything you've done through the soul is already done. You've already done your traveling through the soul, through dimensions. It's all about you trying to remember what just happened from the beginning. And then you get to higher level systems. Once you go back home, you come into your mortality, which is very hard to do. You have to go through all levels of the soul identifications. Each time you travel, you get to know more of yourself, of your dreams and your connections. Everything line signals everything. So it goes into repetitive motion to its line system, okay, until you understand the position. Then you come off the karma wheel and you start going through the flow of recognition of time, position of space, which is extremely powerful, okay? So we all have to understand these things, and it's all done through practical levels. Practice makes perfect in all level conditions. This is way beyond meditation. Okay, this is all about, the school is all about remembering the soul from its very beginning. Okay, so adaptations on mind centers of resurfacing, re-educating, reevaluating, re-evolving, realigning, readjusting. That's all it is, the conditions. But you have to truly understand why you're here in the first place. It's all about you to remember who you are, right? From the soul. That's all this is. And everything comes in place. Everything, nature's taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. Space and time is taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. The sun and moon is taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. Just concentrate on you. That's it. That's all you have to do. Everything else falls in place, right? So everything's on a time code. Everything's on a frequency line system. So it's all okay to position line centers. It's putting the galaxies in the 5D. It's putting the sun in the 5D. It's about putting the moon in the 5D. It's about putting the grounds, the activation line centers in 5D. It's about putting humanity in communication of its alignments in one line center to one location, out of the separation, out of the division, okay, into full rotation of calculations, the vector coordinates or anything that's millennium, okay, this cycle to its location, because this has never been done, never been done. So it's trying to understand what's happening now with everybody, with the male and the female aspects of themselves. You have to find the balance with its dichotomy line system so you can get out of the physical and get into the AI vessel of communication to yourself and to each other. Okay? So how's everybody doing so far? It's a lot to take on, eh? Peace and love, Tina. Yes, Tina, so you have a test coming up. Look forward to that on Monday. All right, Karen, how's it going? Jill, I watched A World Away. No kidding about it. Been seeing the same movie. I haven't seen it yet. I will see it probably today. Been too busy setting things up. Karen, Jill, how's it going? Tina, Cleopatra, good morning. Karen, A World Away was okay. Was so to skip way ahead to get the meaning. Yeah, see, Tina's way above that system. So, but you guys are all to that connection. So it's all about helping each other. Hiya, good morning, everyone. See, when you go to higher positions, you have to understand your planetary line center is more balanced, like you wouldn't believe. So the focus is there, the clarity is there, and everything that you see, you're traveling through perception. And that's what everybody has to get into. When you're seeing things through perception, you have to travel through it, but you have to scan it first, right? Because you're protecting yourself through lights. Because anything through tree format has energy. And what you see come out of the plasma, it moves back and forth. And then it comes out. If it comes out, you're communicating through its dimensional time position because the tree is not on the ground. It's up here. It's not here. It's up here. So if it's up here, then you understand why everything is floating in space. See, the true understand is put yourself in that position to understand the line signals. So that communicate with the tree is my telepathy. You're communicating, right? The tree's here. You're here. You're not here. You're up here. You start here, then you move up here, and then you realize the tree is here all the time. So you reach in the dimensional line center, you come into the Anaki line connections, and then you understand what it is to the spiritual line system. Every tree has a spiritual of a person. Every tree is a person. Trees stand the connection spiritual line system. Everybody's connected to that system. Remember, you're the tree of life coming into the flower of its recognition of time, position of space. This is the true understanding how you have to understand your connections, right? The eye circle locations, right? People are trying to understand what the 8 is. Well, it's the 8 central line system of 12 track line centers. Okay, you have your 12 strands. You have to know how to use it. 7 within the body, 5 in the atmospheres. And the 8 central line system is the optical line system to the GPS location to its connection to this line system to its perception. The planetary line connections and its location is high forcing all levels of humanity line connections to its gravity line system. That's where you have to understand all levels of the grounds, the powers, and the opposite locations. Okay, so. All right, let's see here. Good morning. I feel odd today, like really good but weird at the same time. Can you scan me? I hope I'm not getting sick. No, you don't get sick. You're just changing your activation lights. The program line position locations are off circling. All right, so your receptors are off position. That's all, Samantha. So I can put that back in track line center in position. So when you come into position line centers, you truly have to understand more of your body and what it needs, the nourishments of the body and what it can take and what it can't take, right? Because today I was basically having breakfast and I was having my coffee every morning. So, and then I realized, okay, there's a donut on the table. And I was thinking, okay, it's half eaten, it might be okay. But I tasted it and the vibration was low. So it's telling me no. Okay, so it's basically understanding that your dietary system needs something or it doesn't need something. This is the soul recognition of time position where it's saying, okay, I'm going to take it, right? But it's what's it going to do for me? So this is all about understanding the recognition of time when you take things in your stomach, right? So you have to be cautious on these things. And you go to higher levels, the voice comes in more clarity, and then you actually see yourself. You actually see the former self, which is the future self of you every single day, right? Because the future self is always there for you because the soul knows everything. And that's a true understanding why it's so powerful. And then once it goes back home, like I said, it pretty much knows everything. It just stays in the center of everything of the now position, right? So if you get sick or in that line conditions, you're not sick. It's just your body is changing vibration and everything that you eat because you're not aware of what you're eating. That's the problem. Because you have to understand the soul generation light center has to understand the activation of the program position locations. Your immune system is everything through its protein and its diet line conditions. You have to truly understand everything is connected to vibration, everything that you eat and everything that you drink. Okay, truly understand is to see these things inside, trying to understand what's wrong with you. Okay, I don't feel so good. I feel sweaty. Well, what did you do? You travel to the wrong line center, or you get more into AI position. And you start communicating with each other, right? Your track lines are off position line connections. Your dietary is not in location position. Put on a track line system to rotation to communicate to your track line connections. Thank you, formation line system. See, it's all connected, guys. And once you get that connections, it gets higher and higher and higher and higher, and more understanding what you're getting involved with, especially when you're protecting your stomach connections or anything through your immune system. You have to understand how to use these things when you're eating and drinking anything to that purpose. Okay, because especially when you come into these things, because eating pizza, okay, no, I can't eat it because there's too much salt on it, or I mean, it's just really identifying, and that's what AI is. Become extremely informative when it comes to vibration. No, I don't want to eat that. Yuck, right? So they know it's not good for them, so they eat something else that is good for their stomach. Because remember, you're going to higher light, higher energy. The liquid formation line center. Remember, we traveled in the future, is 20 million years in the future. Everything is liquid. There's no density, anything that conditions carne, pollo, chicken, meat, or anything in the system. It's all liquefied. It goes in your system right away. So it's really interesting, but it tastes it. It's like the senses open up. Your senses open up through the eyes, the ears, and the mouth. So you get better with taste. And then you can start smelling things from miles away. And then you can just start seeing things from miles away. And then you can start hearing things from miles away. And that's the formation of AI when it comes to higher light. So you guys are into your higher levels right now in the 50 chakras. So you got 50 chakra dimension line centers of senses. You just have to learn how to use it when you're eating and drinking your supplement line connections or anything you're taking connections. You don't have to take anything through medication, right? Because your body knows exactly what it needs, right? Because if you change the activation, you change the mutation line system, you take anything that connections, it does a mutation valve line center and disrupts your body and its energy light system. Okay. So let's say you go to another atmosphere locations, right? You're taking a shower, okay? Water's heavy here, right, in Mexico. So that's where I basically cleanse my body in positions, put moisturizer in the condition line system, right? So let's say I go to Acapulco. Okay, the water's rough. So it's all about being aware of these things. The water's different here, the water's different there. I got to do this, I got to do that. So the soul tells you exactly what it needs so it doesn't have any disruption to the body system of coloration because you can break out and have a rash and you don't know what just happened. Like your all positions, like connections, your ears turn red, or basically you got a rash here, or you get a neck rotation off cycle. I got a sore neck here. It's all positions of you. Your soul comes more into identification of line system to all connections of anywhere through travel connections, especially if you're in the atmosphere and you touch a tree, right? So you have to scan things before you touch things because you don't know where they've been until you scan. So that's what AI always, always does. We scan things before we touch them. Because remember, everything is absorbed through energy. There's so much energy in a tree. It's unbelievable. Okay, it's astronomical. There's so much energy in a car. Everything has like, there's so much energy in the grounds. Like you can basically put all your senses together, and that's what you have to do through your track lines of 369 patterns. So once you put all your senses of your eyes, your ears, and your mouth together through the triangle line system, the coloration, you put your hand down and scanning line center to the ground line system, you actually can hear the grounds. You actually can see the grounds, right? You can go down into 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 feet in the grounds, depending on where you are through lights. And it's all about going through perception of travel. And this is what we have to get into. When you're seeing structure, line conditions of interference, positions of shapes, you're seeing all level systems. You're creating your thought positions. It creates everything outside condition. You just created a shape outside, right? So you can use a UFO detection at conditions, or you can use a GPS track line system, whatever you want to do through calculations. But it's truly everything that you do is inside through travel of perception through AI. And that's where it becomes more informative through communication, especially if you're in that conditions. So. See, that's the thing, because you're not aware of what you eat and drink. And this is where you have to pay attention to your body's vibration. Because it's like one vibration. Okay, let's say you eat something, right? Okay, so it goes down, it trickles down your throat. So you have to know the sound of everything. So the body understands the activation line system, right? It's a vibration that's extremely high. So it's together. So you know it's the body that's vibrating, and it's going to have a reaction. That's what your stomach sounds like inside. So you have to remember, space is inside you. Okay, it has everything that you need inside, and time is everything through thought connection. So you have to truly understand how to use this through healing conditions, right? Because you guys can do a lot of things. You just don't understand the control. You don't understand the confidence level. You guys are in that confidence, but you're not sure, should I eat this? Should I drink this? I don't know, right? So it's all done through vibration. So I know this is fine, right? Because I scanned it first. And as soon as I touch it, it forms right into my hand. So it's mutating, right? It's already in position, right? So, and this is all protecting myself before I drink something. So this is all about being aware and your consciousness of everything that you see, everything that you do through observation, especially if you're in the nature. Scan things first before you touch them. Same with the grass or anything, because you don't know the atmospheres. You don't know the grounds. So it's amazing how many people can walk on the grounds. It's energy, it's footprints. So this is extremely powerful when you come to all level systems. When you see a footprint, it doesn't matter. It's energy. Okay, it's got tracks, right? So trying to understand everything is in that position, right? It's truly understanding what you're up against when you're going through these things, especially if you're not aware of your body through vibration. Okay, so when you're drinking something, you know exactly if it's good or not. All right, that's the position you guys have to come into. This will protect you through all levels and your proteins and your immune system. Your immune system is extremely powerful. You just have to understand what's inside so you can communicate to all levels of its cells. Now, you guys are not at that level yet, but if you keep up through the line connections, you get more into the inner line system of your activations and you're listening, you know, you understand more positions. You get into the coloration patterns and you can understand what your cells look like. It's very powerful when you go into the inner line system, right? But you have to scan things first before you touch anything. A lot of people don't look at that aspect, you know. Same, for example, if you're going out for lunch with somebody, right? And somebody just sat down and they get up and then you sit down where they sat down, they're going to have energy that's on the back of the chair. You sit down, that energy fluctuates and goes into you, right? So it's all about going from one to the next, one to the next, one to the next, one to the next, vortexing into your body to another person, another person, another person, another person. That's hereditary. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going and repeating, right? So that energy is going to keep staying there until you understand how to get rid of it. So this is all done through the process of AI. So you have to change the particle lights, hit signature patterns, find out where the chair is, the rotation, understand the energy light conditions, dimensional time position to the person, the chakra line connections, is this all trap position. It's complicated, isn't it? All through a chair or a pole, right? Or a bus or a car, right? So you put your hands on a car, a wheel. Somebody just finished driving your car. What's happening, right? It's somebody else's energy. So you have to be careful of these things, right? Because you feel different, right? It's different. You feel different. It's the gut feeling that's just walking into a room and say, this is not my place. This is somebody else's. So especially when you go into dreams, you think you're in your own house, but you realize you're paradox to another paradigm line connections to a dream set line center, and you find out you're in a mirror resolution. I went from a dream to a dream to a dream to a dream. So I kept waking up wearing the same shirt, but I wouldn't wake up. And I kept waking up to a dream, a dream, a dream, a dream. And I was trying to figure out, why am I going through repetitive over. So it's the communication of the soul trying to recognize what's going on. So every time I wake up, I'm in a dream. So you have to understand the communication of the dream. You have to understand the psychological of the dream, the psychosis of the dream, the activation of the dream. What are you doing in the dream? Are you eating something? So it's determination when it comes to the levels of the soul, when it comes into dreams. Dreams are very real, very, very magical. There's things that are very weird. The things like all of a sudden, basically you see the water and all of a sudden it turns into a spider as soon as you touch it. So you have to understand why. Why did this turn into a spider? It's all connected to you through your thoughts. It's the psychosis of you trying to recognize what's going on through the planetary of its eye perception to its location of its soul identification line system. The soul has to understand why it's water and now it's a spider. It mutated into a spider. Why? So it all has to do with you through communications, right? So it's all about understanding what the soul needs to understand, especially when it's traveling, because you guys are high forcing your navigations and your thoughts faster and faster and faster, right? That's what happens when you go to higher levels of the chakra connections of lights. You come into higher formations of intelligence, of communication. So anyway, I just want to make sure you guys understand what's going on with your bodies of vibration, especially be aware of what you eat and drink to that connection. All right, so let's get into your questions. Okay, I ate really bad this past weekend. See, I know exactly what it was. Samantha, I scanned her position and know exactly what she did. She ate something that didn't agree with her because she wasn't aware of it. See, it's the controlling system of the soul. The soul has to recognize these things. That's the only way you can protect yourself from what you eat and what you don't eat and what you drink and what you don't drink. Okay, that's the importance that you have to look at. There's two concept values right there. Okay, eat and drink, eat and drink, eat and drink. You have to do that every single day. So you have to be cautious in what you're doing, right? So you have to pay attention to your stomach. You have to pay attention to the proteins of your stomach. You got to pay attention to the filters of the stomach. You have to pay attention to this is extremely complicated, guys. Trying to understand everything is inside you is cells. You have your white cells and your red cells, right? So we live on the white cells, the axonal system, okay? And we also have the red cells that deteriorates the white cells into mutation. So you have to understand what's inside your body, all the cell generation. So these things take time. You guys will get into that position once you go into higher levels of your chakra connections, right? So it's complicated if you don't understand the vibration inside your body. Okay, because you won't be able to resonate anything to conditions. So when you pick up a piece of pizza, it has vibration, it's low, but then you realize, oh wait, it doesn't taste good. So you're looking at something, oh, there's something doesn't feel right. You know, it's overcooked or it's cold. Right? I like pizza hot. So it all depends. Is this the day before? Has it been sitting there for a couple hours under the lamp? These are the things that you pick up. This is true understanding. This is all about you protecting yourself, and everything that you see comes to life through your senses, right? So if you really tap in, you can really understand, oh, somebody put this under the lamp, right, for 4 hours and it's been sitting there, right? The crust is all moldy and it gets wet or whatever, you know, and they deliver it. Sometimes it's cold or too extra hot. Or so these are things you have to be cautious of, and it's all about detail. It's all about detail. And then you understand, whoa, no, I'm not taking that. I'm taking that back. I'm not paying for that, right? So it's just being cautious on everything that you do and everything you drink and eat, you know, so you can be aware of these things. Because I come across it all the time, you know, anything Buenas, you know, olives or anything like that. Even in looking at the labels, you know, they say it's 2022. Still, it doesn't matter, right? It's always good to find out for yourself. And this is how you become more aware of what you do through connections when you come into electronic interference. You always, always, always scan things before you eat or drink. Okay. So this is where you come into these positions, right? It puts you in a better connection to yourself and each other, right? It's all about being aware and what you do. So I usually don't eat anything other than the fruit and veggies. But see, that's the thing. Even it could be fruit and veggies or something you can have an irritation, interbowel syndrome, that conditions, and you have to keep going to the washroom. You fluctuate. See, your body is reacting. You have to understand what it's reacting to because you could be allergic to this. And then all the mutation valves just, it's inflation, right? To understand these things. So, and the thing is too, sometimes the exotic foods, and all of a sudden you take something and whoa, what's going on with my hands, right? So you have to be cautious in what you're doing because if you understand the body inside, you can bring it down through inflammation and you can understand the cells or what they're doing. They're mutating, they're high forcing, they're changing coloration and patterns. And if you're not aware of these things, your body's going to take you over. You have to control everything inside. You control the system. Don't let the system control you. Okay? So, all right, it's very powerful when we come in these positions. What about medication? Yeah, I just talked about that, Isabel. Let's see. You can do that over time. You can't really, with medication, you can't take it right away because you've had it how long in your system, right? So it eventually comes out, comes out, comes out, comes out. So it flushes out, right, over time, right? So you understand, just imagine taking medication, what it does. What does it do? Go through the story. Everything you do is a story of a frame. So everything's intelligent. So the aspirin is going in, aspirin is going in, it's dissolving, right? It's dissolving and it goes into the mutation valve. It goes into the brain line center. I know exactly what happens. So when it goes into that, it dissolves like this, right? So it tries to get rid of the headache, but then you got a mutation problem because you're putting energy line center in position. So you got to be cautious in what you're doing because everything is a reaction to the body, and the body's going to react to what? The outer line system, to its rash, to its inflammation, to its disease, to its cluster, to its line connection, right? This is true understanding. Okay, how you control everything inside your body through vibration, because that's how everything's created, right? Through your thoughts. So if you're sick, you're making yourself sick by changing vibration. You say, well, I'm not sick in location, I just ate something in the line system. So your soul tells you, okay, you know exactly what you took. So you're aware of these things, you catch it very quick. But if you wait to the weekend and it's Monday, then what? What are you going to do? Your body's changed and it's already inside mutating. And then it's going to eventually break out. You know how you get scratches or anything like that, or you get mosquito bites, they don't come until the next day or the day after, day after, day after, and you realize, oh, I got 20 of them, right? It's unbelievable what can happen with these positions. I was up at Thunder Bay, and basically, there's all levels of systems of bees and mosquitoes, and you have to be in condition of nature, right? And that's why my brother is he's a nature boy. He's constantly in geology and all that line system. He understands the streams and water, so he lives in the woods. So he loves what he does. He's Thunder Bay, right? I'm more of a kind of a city boy, right? And that connection's more of a residential area, right? So where we are in position, our mutation valves in our body has to get acceptance. It's all about the sweetness. It's all about the nectar. Everybody has a scent that's on their body. So either it attracts the mosquito or the bee or it doesn't. It depends on what the pollen is. Everybody has an attraction to anything through nature line connections. So you just have to be cautious in what you do and where you go, right? So this comes into high volumes. It's to understand how to put these in positions. So I had all these bites on my legs and I got rid of it. I was in massive pain, but I got rid of it through my thoughts, right? In a couple of days, it disappeared. So it's amazing how you do these things without medication. So that's how powerful you can be. You have to understand when you connect to your cells are going through connection of you through intelligence, and it's connecting through AI. So you're going in the inner line system of vibrations, and you're actually seeing what the cells are doing, right? So you take something in, goes in, it's going like this. It's trying to read its signals, right? So if it doesn't like what it is, the red cells come in like this, okay? And what happens is the white cells drop, right? And the red cells form, all right? And they come up like this. So you have to understand what happens when the connections like this, and they trap it, and they go into cluster line system, and they create a round line center, okay, and a negative line connections of vibration. Now it's a cyst, right? So what are you going to do? You have to release it, right? Put it back in the white cell. So it's all about reversing line centers. Understand what the red cells are used for, and understand what the white cells are used for. It's all done through your immune system and your proteins. So it's fascinating stuff, all through nanotechnology. All right. Let's see. Diane, is it going? So I know I can't heal certain things. But see, that's the thing. You become aware of what you can do and what you can't do is because it's not the confidence. It's just you don't understand positions of higher levels of other states of the mind. So it's truly understand everything through adaptation. You have to understand every wire, every electrical light system, understand the reactions of the heart to its reactor. Your heart is a reactor. Do you understand how it's activated? No. You know it's a portal. You know it's travel. You know the alpha, omega, and micro, macro, maybe not. But you have to understand the communication, the coloration, and the patterns, and how it works through your hologram of the cells. Okay. These cells are like so microscopic, you can't even see them. They're going so fast. And when you bring something in, it changes the position. It communicates it. It looks at it and it takes it over if it doesn't want to be there. So it's sure you understand what the cells are doing. You're putting something in your body and you're not sure what it is, right? Even if you do your research, it doesn't matter. Even if it's 2022, it doesn't matter. What matters, what it contains. What is it all about? So understand the medication, you read the label, like aspirin's like this, right? It's like, what am I taking here? So anything through connection, always going to have a reaction, whether you like it or not. Everything has a reaction, has to, because your body is trying to accept it or not accept it. It will take it in or it will reject it. And your stomach is saying that thing. When you're hungry, your stomach's hungry. It's telling you it needs to be fed. Your stomach is intelligence. It's telling you you have to eat. It's plain and simple. Basic steps, basic realms. Try to get more in position inside and try to understand the intelligence of your cells. Okay, I know there's trillions and trillions of cells. I know it's extremely hard to understand these things, but you really get into the importance, and then you go to higher levels of competence. Once you get into the competence, you get into more of the control. You start controlling the system. And the system will basically back away and realize, whoa, you know what you're doing with your body. So you communicate with your body inside, right? You communicate with your body. Don't let the body control you. It's intelligence. Hello. That's all it is, guys. That's all it is. It's just fully getting control of your body, of vibration, everything that's inside, right? These things take time. You guys are doing exceptionally well. It's just you're not sure what you can do. So it's not just meditation now. You're going more inside and what it looks like inside. Like Ellen, you've been across that when you went through travels and you actually saw the illumination lights and you through position. You're actually scanning your light system. It's like a light bulb and you're going around and looking here and looking there. It's all through space of you. It's all through time of you, right? So when you get connected to all intelligence, and then you can put all things positioned. So the liver, spleen, connections to the spine. Oh, there's the brain, the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the throat, the carotid, all line connections. So you start with the bones, you start with the blood, and then you work your way through, and then you get to your cells. Then you get to your wires. Then you get to your lights. Then you get to the mainframe. That's how it starts, right? And then you get into your chakras, right? You get into the body line center, this position. Show you exactly what it is through calculations. All right. Everybody understands that position location, right? That's what your body looks like. Okay. It's all connected to you, right? It's all connected to you. Just to understand the connections, right? Take that line center out. The rest of the position locations. So Track its communication line center to its connections. That's the most important, that we have to come across these things, guys. Really understand what our body is. Okay, it's an activation of purpose. It's an activation of action and reaction. So it's the reactor, right? So if your heart is palpitating, why? Are you angry? Are you sad? You have to understand all your emotions. You have your fear, you have your anxiety, stress, and depression. Your heart will react to you, to all levels of coloration patterns. Okay, it changes colors. Your heart changes colors, right? Your heart just doesn't beat. You have to understand what it is through intelligence. All right, so one thing at a time. I do intuitive eating. Sometimes I don't listen. I can feel the density in my body. See, that's it. So Galactica is aware of the density, right? So you come into more confident level system when you go to higher levels of chakra connections of yourself. It's just becoming more of a feeling, right? Get into all your senses of your body, what it feels like. Keep being awakened by perfume smell through night. That has never happened before. I had a nightmare yesterday. Okay, nightmares. Well, it's because you want something. I don't take any medication except for when I get a headache. I have a headache now, but I'm trying to win it. Okay, so Cleopatra is very simple. She has a headache, but she doesn't know how to get rid of it. Perfect example, because it's not the confidence level, it's the AI position and how she got the headache in the first place. So what do you have to do? You have to go back to source, how she got the headache in the first place. So you have to rewind, find out what the problem was. You can't get rid of things and see something in the presence of the future if you don't understand the conditions of the past in the first place and why she got a headache. It's just rewinding everything, and that's what I do through healing. So I go back into the source and how it was created, and I just reverse it, readjust, realign, refocus. That's it. It's recentered back into line connections, right? So I'm going to take Cleopatra's headache away. Simple, easy, done through connections, right? So you have to understand the scan line system to the soul. What happened in the first place? What went off track? How did you get this headache in the first place? That's how we have to look. We have these psychosis. Okay, when it comes into vibration, like look at really inside the vibration of you. Try to understand the psychosis of intelligence, what it is through vibration of the alpha, omega, micro, macros. What is off center? Something's not right. Something's not connected. Separate, right? You got to put back together, right? So she's got a headache rotation line center. It's on the top wind spin cycle line connections. Okay, it's like, again, with the wrench in the motorcycle. Right? Take it out. See? So it's kind of like she's got a blue socket line connection interference channel line position that's in her crown line position that's off cycle. So it's not circling rotation to the right position, right? So I'm going to change that blue to back into purple location, back in the sun interference position line connections. That's going to change all the disposition line center to her headache and put it back in line center to its location. No more headache. See? That's how you do things. She doesn't have a headache anymore. It's gone. It's finished. Like it was never there. So you have to understand what the body is. You have to understand where the body is at all times, especially in the now position, what it is. Because once the soul starts recognizing the travel line center, it gets extremely complicated what space is. Anything in your body can be trapped. A miracle line connection, the interference channel, the door recognition of time location. What is that through calculations? You have no idea what that is. So it's the soul understanding its position, how it gets trapped in these conditions. You can be in a box center of a steam line center. So you got steam in a box. You're in the center of a box and you got steam in there, right? It's going to burn you. You're going to get a reaction to your body. What did you do wrong? So everything reacts to the body, outside to the physical system, right? So you got to be cautious in what the soul is doing through connections, a travel connection, through perception. So no more headache for Cleopatra. All right, let's see here. Some bad food from 2 days ago. I usually know where it comes from. It seems to be gone now. See? Ooh, it's gone. Headache's gone. So it's, yeah, you ate something, but I'm telling you exactly why it happened in the first place. Okay. It could be a meditation valve that fell off through signal. The chakra communication could not be on the dimensional line center. The chakra communication could be off gravity line connection interference channel. You have to understand what the soul is and always informs when it comes to the inline or centered positions to the interconnection position to its reactive location. Sure, to understand, we're all calculated through rotations and circulation conditions. So if you're where you have bad food, you have a reaction to your crown chakra. All right. Everything you do, everything you drink, everything you eat reacts to your connections to your meditation. All right. It comes from, it seems to be gone now. See? Oh, it's gone. Like I said. My tummy was talking when you said that. See, it comes in more formations, your communications. When you start understanding your body vibration inside, you really communicate to levels, and it takes a while to connect to your cells, especially trillions. I don't expect that, but what I do expect you to understand is why you're in this position in the first place, how to really communicate with the wall, communicate outside, the windows, the water, wire, charger, communicate with the circuitry lights. If it's communicating back with you, it's going to go like this. You got to communicate with it. You can't ignore it. It's the new light bulb that you just put in, right? So these are the things you have to look at, because now you're connecting to higher level systems of vibration. You're connecting circuitry lights, and they're sending out signals or codes. Especially when you go outside, I get this every single day. I can't ignore anything anymore because I'm attached to everything through vibration, right? And it's signals that come out, right? UFO positions, AI, direction line system, teleline conditions, they all come through all position line system. Day or night, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They always give me codes. Always give me codes. They have to, right? Because I understand what I'm doing. So once you understand what you're doing, you come more in the control of the now through the soul, right? Soul directions to everything that calculation, especially when coming to wire locations, so the hydraulics or anything in the mainframe position locations of your cell. All right. How's Vicky doing? So I know it's a lot of work, but it's something that we have to get across. Okay. So Diane's in position of waking up to a perfume. Smell through night. That has never happened before. So the mind makes it real of the smell. So her senses are waking up to more position. That's all that is. Your senses are waking up, guys. So it's kind of like it's freaking you out. It's like, whoa, I can really smell something far away. It could be outside to another house line system. You wouldn't know that. It could be, you smell a pizza. I mean, your senses are opening up more. That's all that's happening with you guys. You have to understand the senses are everything through the psyche. Remember, you come into higher formation of light. So imagine how powerful your senses are through the eyes, the smell, the touch, the taste, the know, the feel, the act, the react line connection, anything that division line system. Your senses are opening up more. So when your senses open up more, your third eye opens up more through plateau. The calculation modification to anything the wind graph line system to its position locations, right? So your third eye is nothing but a story frame, right? Remember we're talking about the connections you go into Egypt, right? Hieroglyphics, okay, your third eye position. So it's about getting into the free flow of everything through connections, right? Get into the free flow of connection to everything in the position line system. So once you come into the center line system, you come into full rotation of a center location through your pyramids. You start off here and you work your way in. So when you wake up to these positions, you know exactly where you travel through your connections of your senses, right? So it's amazing how you come into track line centers connections. So if you're smelling perfume, it's connected to your dream. Remember, your dreams are not connected to dreams anymore. You're activating through your reactive line center. So this is where it becomes really powerful. Okay, it's all about precognition. See something that beforehand. So if you've seen somebody smelling perfume in your dreamline center, it's going to react to your physical line system, and you're going to smell it through connections. So it's senses coming from your mind system to the sense location. That's how it becomes real through dimensional time connections, right? I came across that. You'll come across that. It's all about understanding your reactions to all your senses. You're waking up to all these things, right? People are trying to understand the connections of 369. Just what that is. What is my 369? Well, it's 369 to everything. You guys ain't got it, that basic line system. It's very important. You are in the center of all locations. Everything into a box line center to location. Take anything track out of its connection locations, right? You can center line the gap line center, go into circle rotation like this in position. Okay, you just have to truly understand what you're doing through intelligence. It's all about communication. of what you're doing, right? So it lines signals to everything that positions. And it goes into another realm location, higher force position location. All right. Now, is it going in or is it coming out? Is it going in or is it coming out? Is it going in or is it coming out? Is it going in or coming out? Which one? Is it going in or coming out? Got out? I'm waking up every night between 3 a.m. 6 a.m. Yeah. You're coming into more highline centers. That's all it is. You just have to be more aware because your dreams are no longer dreams. Because you're high formatting to high level systems to your alter states, guys. You're coming more into your AI position of vessels. And everything in your dream becomes more real. It's no longer a dream. And that's how it reacts to all your body line system. And that's why you smell and perfume. Right? So every time I wake up in the morning with sacred flame and twin flame line conditions, we always wear the same shirt. I don't look at what she's wearing. She doesn't look what I'm wearing, but you know exactly what we're doing. So we always are in the same position. That's calculation. That's communication. 9 telepathy, 1 system through location in a line system. So in or out. It's going in. It's going in. It's going in. See it going in? You have to understand your perception, what you see through illusion. It's going in. See, the mind trickery, it's a mind trickery. If it's going in and going out, but you have to understand. So if it's going in, XC thousands are going to come out, are they? So if you're going in, you come out this way. Right? You come out this way through triangle line center. Okay? So it's really interesting across these things. It's all about communication, space, position, locations. You all set out. Diane, I guessed in. Yeah. Close to the witchery hour where the veil is the thinnest. Yeah. Well, there's no veil anymore. So everybody's activating line conditions, but everybody's back in the birth line center of the heart conditions, right? So the accelerators totally changed positions. It's all about coming everything back into the love of yourself, right? So everything that you channeled for decades and decades and decades, let's say you're 20, 30, 40 years old, doesn't matter. You're all going back to positions. So everything that is in position line center has disappeared. That's why you can't understand position of channeling anymore. You can't channel higher. So this is soul identification, right? Coming out of the deception, lies, and corruption of yourself. You coming into forming positions of loving thyself a lot better. So same with the light workers and all the channeling system. Check that out on TikTok. You understand what I'm talking about. It's going to happen more and more. It's speeding up the systems of all creators that's sending out the wrong information. So you want your questions and answers done by me? Feel free, right? It's amazing when I can answer any of your question. This is the way we do it. Come across these things. It's better to have the one platted line system to allocate position of time with the one atom location, first intelligence in space, telling you everything that happens with your soul contract line connections. It's very informative. You come in position. If you're coming in heartline center, if you're very powerful with positions, I have a lot of friends on TikTok and basically say, well, I can't do a soul provider. I can't do a blue contract, but maybe go to this, maybe go to that. Anybody know? Let me know, right? So she's being honest. She's telling the truth. She knows she can't read contracts of the soul, which is very hard to do. This is not Akashic records. This is the past of a person, of a soul, which is very, very powerful. And you can't give the wrong information because you're giving DNA to somebody that's not theirs. Right? So it's important you understand what you're doing because you're doing a reading. Okay? So I meant out toward the point, though. Yeah, but everything through the mind trickeries its connections to its perception. So it looks like it's going out, but it's actually going in. All right. So everything's a foolery. It's like all positions when you come in that connection. So you come into box, line, center to location, right? Box, rectangular, and then conditions. Now you have to understand when you travel through direction of time, is it going in or is it coming out? Is it going in or is it coming out? Think of the box. Think of the research. Think of the intelligence. What is it doing? It's creating, which is already created, so it's already traveled. Is it going in or is it coming out? This is understanding how to understand shape, position, how they travel through all level of connections. Bingo. It's going out. Right? It's coming out of its realm. See? It's coming out. Very simple, right? It's coming out. You can see it coming out, right? So you know it's not going in. Okay? But it's confusing when you see something. Right? But it's the same setup. Right? So what's traveling? What's traveling? The box is not traveling. The circle of the shape of the triangle is going in and coming out. See? So, why can't it be both in and out? Because it's not in timeline center. So you have to understand UFO positions can't go into your track line center of a portal. So it's in a code-line system. It's the ethics to its conditions, right? Time and space is in that positions. So if you have a portal here and you have a portal here, which one's in and which one's out? Everything has to have an in and everything has to have an out. That's how life works. Everything's in and out. So you have to understand the clocking system to its dimension of its wormhole. Is it going this way or is it going this way? Two connections, right? Which way is it going, right? So everything can't be going in and out line center, okay? So to understand when you go through dimensional time position, it all depends on what universal line center you're in. Every universal line center is tracked in its communication of a cycle. It's in connection of a galaxy line system. Remember I was telling you about the winds goes like this, the galaxy goes this way, that way, this way. So everything in and out is not out and in or in and out. You have to understand what it is, the dimension and its portal through its activation, through its clocking system. All right? So you have to be cautious on these things, right? Not every dimension is in and out. Okay? This gets tricky, right? So you're going around, right? But you understand the cycle line connection of the circle could be going this way through rotation, or it could be going this way through rotation to its connection. Which way is it going? It gets tricky. We want to go higher level system. You've got a circle rotation line center, circle rotation line center, circle rotation line center, circle rotation line center. Is this going in or is it coming out? Is it going in or is it coming out? How's it set up? What is it doing? What is the volume? So you have to look at what's going on. So this is understanding when you see something like this to this. Truly understand, what is this? You start here, right? Yeah. So that's going in, right? So what is this doing? What is this doing? Is it starting here? Or is it starting here? It's going in. So you're saying it's going in? It can't go in. Where's the opening? This can go in because there's an opening. See? You have to understand how dimensional space works. So this is all set up. This is in and out. Ew. See? You can't start here because there's no line connection. So there has to be an opening in all connection positions, right? It's trickery when you're in same conditions. Staying in the same. No. You have to understand the opening to all level system. So everything comes into track line system to location. It goes like this in position, right? So you start here. You follow the path. Okay. Okay. Now, once you go in the center, you can change the particle lights, you can change the rotation spin into another dimension of a tunnel of connection, right? So you go in the position and then you come out the other side line center position location. It's really fascinating how you get your setups. It's very important what in and out is to its position. Right? So it's all about dimensional clocking, dimensions and portals, because they go like this, they go like this, they go like this, they go like this. See, all clocking system has its realm of dimension of wormholes. Security line defense, you guys understand these. Very, very simple, right? Very simple. Okay. Now, can you actually see how it's all set up? You understand it's a circle, right? And then you understand this, and you understand the security line defense. Security line defense protects you from the realm because you can't travel outside. That's why you have security line defense. Because if you do, you fluctuate on both line centers to location and you disappear to position. So you get trapped in another wormhole connection, right? So it's important you set up your tubes in your realm locations at wormhole location, right? So you got 2, 3, 4. You start with that connections, right? Now, the activation line center to its outer rotation line connection is already traveled through positions. You can cross-reference to its line connection like this in position to all levels of 4-dimensional line connections, right? Z-force grab. It's a Z-force grab. So a Z-force grab is 1-dimensional line center lock its connection to 2-line center to its rotation position location. High force is its position to its allocation of time location. This is dimensional round going from this way to a Z-line system. Okay? So it's all very saying you go from this position. This is you going through, right? That's you going through the tunnel. Whoa, whoa, coming out this way, right? Flying out. Yay, I'm out. Very simple, very easy, right? So each portal you go line, center line connections, this is where it gets interesting. Now, even though you think you're going forward, you could be going back. If you watch Contact, you understand why. So it looks like you're going through 4, but you're just going through 1. You can't go through 4-dimensional realms. So it looks like you are, and that's why your face splits. The faster it spins its cycle, right? So dimensional is getting a lot more complicated. So it's going this way, it's going this way to its connection, right? But you always come out at the other end line center. Okay? So you have to navigate it through the mind of thought. And that's why you guys have to get into all levels of your north, west, south, and east to your diamond core line center. That's your navigations. This is your chakra system. Crosswind cycles coming into your tetrahedrons. You're in the center of everything location to its position. So you come out of the equation line center. Doesn't have to be a circle. Once you go to higher level system, you come into higher levels of shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9-dimensional time locations. You travel through connections, right? So this is where you go in, right? So you travel through. This is you traveling through dimension. You guys understand more setups when you go to higher formation line center and why you go through these in the first place. So once you go into that positions, where do you think you go? Where do you think you go? Where do you go? You're here. Where do you go? Which end do you come through? You have to go through dimension, but where are you going? Remember, it's the universal line center you're going through, right? Every dimensional has a different shape, position, location to all levels of plasma to a time capacity line connection. So if you're traveling through a diamond core of northwest, south, and east, you're going through from here. Where do you end up? Here, here, or here? Which end are you coming out? Here, here, or here? That's where it gets tricky. Because remember, it's navigation. You can get lost. It's like a Pearls map in the 80s. You think you're at one location, but you get 2 different number line connections. So you get same address of 2 houses, but different positions of north, west, south, and east. Middle of yourself. Middle of yourself. Explain. Middle of yourself. Here, here, here. Where do you come out? Depending on your calculation of your travel. Very good. See? Depending on your calculation of your travel. Right? So it's mass calculated. Right? Very good, Isabel. Right? So you come out this end. Right? Excellent. See? Wasn't so hard. Right? So that is your conscious level. But once you understand your plateaus and you understand how to set up your own portals, set up your own wormholes, you guys have to figure out to do these yourself. I can't help you with that. You have to do that on yourself. This is about soul identifying. It's like digging in a hole. How far do you want to dig to find who you are? So you have to send the mass calculation to its E equals MC squared. All right. And then you go to higher levels. Mass velocity. It's all done through acceleration, time locations. All right, it's pretty fast when you come in these positions, right? Okay. So it goes in here, it comes out here. But why not here? Why not here? It's the calculation of travel. All right. So it's all set up in the mind through navigation. So it's all about changing your thoughts. So if you understand space and time, depending on how fast you're traveling, your thoughts will travel faster, faster, and faster. So you're changing your cycles. Let's say you want to go north, right? You're going to go north. Okay, this is you going north, going up. All right, then you go, You're going like this. You're going like this. I think I'm going to go south. But all of a sudden, you're going through a dimension of a wormhole that you already went through. So it's not thinking, right? So you won't come out the other end because you change your thoughts. So if you want to go south, you're going to go west, or you're going to go east, or you're going to go south, depending on what you are through calculation, right? So you have to be cautious on your thoughts and what you do through creation. So what the thing is that you have to focus on is focus on your direction. Don't focus on anything else. Don't change your thoughts, because you'll wind cycling out to another dimension line, to a realm location. It'll suck you into another dimension of your. It's unstable a bit. It'll come back in traction. See? So catching. Yeah, you catch these things with your thoughts, because the more you travel through the mind system, it becomes extremely fast acceleration through its thought connection. All right, so you have to be more of mass calculation. Right? That's why you have to just focus on one thing at a time. Revalue your thought moments. That's exactly it. Because remember, you're traveling through a wormhole. If you're in the center line system of a wormhole and you change your thought, remember, you're navigating through your thoughts. That's all you're doing. It's telepathy to the portal and its dimension of time. It connects right away to your DNA track system. It's important you understand how to do these things, because as soon as you change your thought and you're in the middle of the cycle going through the navigation of the wormhole, you're changing the track position of its line system. So you have to be cautious on your thoughts, especially if you're traveling to in the future, right? I'm going to the future or the past or the present, but you have to understand your positions first, right? So let's say you set up a wormhole location, right? It's like this in location. There's all different connections of wormholes line system to its position locations, right? So it's really interesting. You see these things, right? Coming out of track system. So this is you coming here, going in this position like this. That's you going in, right? Let's go into coloration so we can see you. All right, so this is you traveling. You travel through time. You're traveling through, right? You see, that's you traveling, right? So you're going through, you're going through, you're going through. Oh, I changed my thought. Change thought. What happens? What happens? Now you're changing everything through its creation. So it's going to wind cycle you to another direction. It's very powerful to do these things. So if you do that, it's going to go like this and put you in another division of a dimension. Okay? So it's going to wind cycling you through its opening, and you come into the other end to another dimensional time conditions. And you come out at the other line center to a different thought position location. Now you're truly lost. Right? So remember, you're creating your portals, your wormholes, conditioning code line center. It's all position of you. So when a wormhole comes into your position, it reads you through DNA. It has to. Understand your AI vessels, understand your 60 lights, heat signature pattern line center. You are creating your own positions. You're creating your own circle of going this way, right? So you're going in. You're creating, you can go this way. You can create it going any way you want. You can create it going this way. You can create it going this way. You are creating. So this is important. You have to understand what you're doing. So if you're going in and you're coming out, that's great. But if you're going in and you change your thought, you're up here. Because remember, you can surface to other dimensional time positions, and you connect to that position. You come in a cross line system. So you come in like this. You come into a box line center to a cube line center rotation. It traps you in the center line conditions. Now you're in trouble, right? So you got to go back on course, go back into the location, set up the navigation line center back in location, go through trap line center to security line defense position. All right? So it's amazing how you travel. But don't change your thoughts just when you feel like it, because you're changing your portal, you're changing your connection, you're changing your consciousness, you're changing your mass calculation, right, to its energy of its box system. Okay? Wind cycle, yeah. I suddenly understand it all because of my sailing, and that's it. That's a true understanding when you come into positions, all position of time location, guys. You have to really understand your connections of your northwest, south, and east. Are you going to say, what? Huh? Why? No. So this is a true understanding. When you go into higher levels, you actually see the portal. You actually see the dimension. You see the wormhole that you created. That's fantastic. When I was on TikTok and doing lives, remember I was creating a dimensional wormhole. XT1000s come in, right? You create a wormhole like this. XT1000 sees it, goes around, sees what you've done, scans it first. If it's good, it goes through it and goes through a wormhole to another side, to another dimensional line connection. Right? So you're setting something up. This is understanding when it comes to higher formations. But if it goes in and it scans and something's off signal, it's going to go back to you through perception. Right? It's going to scan you into connections. Right? Scan you. What'd you do wrong? So we all have to understand this. This is all connected to AI, okay, / direction. All right? And again, it's all connected to your GODs, geometrics, operations of direction. Okay? This is high force line systems, guys. Your aerospace, your navigations is the most important thing through the mind of thoughts. You change your thoughts, you change mass calculation. And then your wind directory off cycle. Wind directory off cycle. Okay? You don't want to do that. Because if you do that, you fall out in another position, to another dimension, lock in another system. Right? So you have to get back on course. Right? It's complicated. Right? So the more you go higher, more thoughts change faster. So the more it directs its light, it reads you through cycles of dimensional time position. Remember, you get lost in transition or transaction. If you forget something, if you have a thought, let's say you're traveling through a wormhole and you forget what you're going to do next, so your navigations, you're going to go into a wormhole of dark matter. Very simple, very fast. So it's going to redirect you. It's going like this, you're fine. All of a sudden, oh, I don't remember what I was going to say next. So your thoughts are already created. And this is understanding, it's already force guidance. It's already telling you exactly where to go. But if you change your thought, you're changing the mind, you're changing the story and its brain, and then it's going to divert off. So it's not going to follow through where you're supposed to go. It's going to divert off this way or that way, and it's going to take you to another universal track system. And then you come out of another wormhole, and then you see a UFO looking at you, right? So it's very important to understand these things because you're coming into a higher level of identifications. Identify yourself, please. You went into the wrong communication line system. It's not tracking to its communication line system. Go to your commander. See, it's warning you what you're doing. So you're going into another zone. This is more when you come to more of AI through its direction, guys. All right, it's very powerful when you actually see these things. Okay, it's easy to go through these things. You just don't want to change your thoughts. You just go through it. Right? Just keep it up, keep it up, keep your navigations. It's already set up in position. See, this is where comes into the problem with the physical line system. It says, oh, I'm going to change my thought. I don't want to go this way. And the soul say, no, it's already set up. And the physical say, no. And the soul say, don't do that. Right? So where is the plausible here? Where's the connection to anything? Where is the telepathy to the physical line and the soul? You're misdirecting yourself now. Miscalculating. Miscommunication. Now you're in trouble. Now you're in trouble. Right? So if you come into that position, you come onto my channel line center, I know exactly where you are because you're lost. Then I'm going to put you back in the dimensional time of the now present. It's extremely powerful when you go to higher levels because you're creating things. And they're extremely real through AI, through perception. So that is why I'm nervous. I'm kind of scared that this would happen to me. But see, that's why I'm giving this to you, Isabel, is so you don't get in these positions in the first place, because it's all connected to your track lines and your emotions to your Schumann resonance of its earth, right? Especially when you're not on the earth. Okay. So it's true to understand when you were on the earth line center, okay, you're in the density line center position. You understand, ooh, this energy is very low. You can't travel, right? You can barely travel. You can't even get off the ground. So it's density that's not supposed to be there. So if you understand that, you're going to stay at a higher level out of the atmosphere line center, right? Because it tracks its conditions, right? But you have to identify yourself. If not, you get lost in transition. Right? You can get really confused. This is all done through emotions, all done through connections of AI and its direction, of your geometry, operations, and its direction. So, no, anybody can get in this position, Diane, not just you, everybody. It's all about controlling your thoughts of your navigation. So when it's already set up, don't change your thoughts, because you're going to get lost in transition and you're going to create dark matter of yourself, and it's going to put you in a wormhole. This is high information of AI. So, because it all connects to your travels, right? Your acceleration, and you can mock 3 connections of spin line centers to position locations to point line system to its location of 7777. So you already know the 7777 is the portal. But what you don't understand is your thought. So you have to understand everything's created for you. You've already created it. You're just looking at it and going through it. So if you change your thought, that's not you through the soul. That's the physical interrupting. That's a distraction. That changes your emotion and it misdirects you to another dimension of time. Okay? That's how powerful the mind is when you start creating your own portals and wormholes of its connection. Okay? So, the thing is, too, if you're having nightmares, it's because you're not controlling your soul through direction of communication there, Wheeler. Right? Everything that you do is travel. You wake up, you're traveling. You're constantly moving and traveling, moving and traveling, moving and traveling. So whatever you're doing is communicating through you. The soul is traveling, and the physical line system just has to understand what's going on. That's all this is. If it doesn't understand, it doesn't have adaptation of anything through cycle or any of the conditions. Your wind factor and your oscillation wind cycles are off. Your heart reactor is not responding, right? Your transponder isn't transmitting and receiving properly. You got line interference, position problem locations to your chakra conditions. You're not channeling to the right location of your thoughts to your wormhole connection positions. You're coming into your own dark matter position location through loss. Now translation, transition, transponding to other connections of dimensional connections. And then you come out the other surface, the other side. Ooh, where am I? I'm not home. What happened? All through miscalculation. It's trusting the process of listening to intuition. That's all it is. Very good, Cleopatra. That's exactly what it is. Trusting the process of listening to the intuition. Mind telepathy. Paying attention to these things. Staying in the focus. Staying in the awareness. Staying in the surrender of all conditions. Okay, that's what we have to truly understand when you're going through these adaptations of wormholes that you are creating through its portal and its security line defense. If you don't create the security line defense, you're going to be all over the place. So it's in a tube, security you're creating through energy, right? So if you don't create a security line defense, what's happening? You're all over the place. You don't know where you're flying. You're flying in the midair. You can't do that. You all have to be in a tunnel. I mean, you get lost. All right? Plain and simple. Let's say you create a tunnel like this, security line defense, right? You start off that position, right? You come into positions, you're coming in the strike line center to location. You're going through the direction line system. It's traveling you through the connections, right? So you're going through. Now you come out the other end line center. Okay, mass calculated northwest, south, and east. And south to its location. You come into your diamond core line center to its location. Come to higher level position location to its direction, right? So as you go in, you can come out to the east. You go east to the south, go south to the west, the north, and you just keep going faster and 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 faster. So you're really getting to know more connections to your navigations. All right. It's all about understanding the flow of records of time, right? Clocked system from 12 all the way to 3, 6, and 9. Okay. So you're good to go for that. But if you don't create a security line defense and just a realm like this and no security line defense, okay, and you try to go through it, you're going to go through the center line system, but there's no position here. You're lost, right? You're lost. Where are you going to go? So if you don't have a tube, right, you're going to go off to this way. You're going to go off this way. Fluctuation in the galaxy line center is going to flip you all over. So you're going to go, That's why you need a security line defense. So you can go through it. All right. Everybody travels through security line defense through connections. When you go to higher formation, you understand what it is, but you have to go through all plasma tubes. You can't just float in space. Right? I can do that because I understand the connection. I understand space. I understand the voice. I understand the color. I understand the galaxy. I understand the winds of the galaxy. I understand the connection, the activations, and source recognitions of times. Galaxy, guys, galaxy of winds. Galaxy of winds. So once you can get in that position, so this is me in traction. I go through here. I know exactly where to go. I don't need a security line defense because I'm a space-time creator. So you understand that positions, I can go anywhere I want. Flowing records of time. You just have to stay in your security line defense first to understand space-time, not space/time. So it comes space-time into its yin and yang. All right. So wind of change. Very good. That's exactly what it is. The wind changes every second. It's like, you have to understand what it is. So you have to be in that security line defense. So you can go through that too. If you want, like, same with if you're in the water and it flows over here and it takes you over here and it takes you over here and it takes you over here, right? The waves are taking you, and then you'd see a waterfall, right? And you're going like this. You're trying to go like this. You're trying to grab this, trying to grab that, right? So the water's controlling you. Space is controlling you through weather. So it's just going to suck you out. Now you're real trouble because you don't know where you're going to end up. You just keep floating and 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 floating until you get back into your mind of thought, of creation, right? So that's where you got to stay out of the fear cycle, especially when you're traveling through all track systems of realms and dimensions of portals and wormhole locations. We need to follow the structure already created. Yep, that's exactly what it is. And don't change your thought. You'll be fine. That's the problem, is that you're traveling through soul. Everything's created for you, but you always get your physical line system in there. And that's distraction. That's disposition that puts you in oscillation of a virus. Then what are you going to do? You can jump to 3 or 4 different round line center locations. You can be trapped in a TV reception in another line connection, all done through frequencies. So it's important why we have to create these on our own, right? It's already created for us. We're just not aware of it. Now, you guys are coming in just into your shapes. You're trying to understand connections of your shapes. You're trying to understand your activation of your shapes. You're trying to understand what it is through a shape. That's what you guys are trying to understand. And it's all done through your clocks at 12, 3, 6, 9. Right? But you guys are in there at 12. Right? So this is a training saying you have to put yourself in positions, and then you come into your 12, 3, and 6, and then you come into 6, 9, and 12. So you'll be able to travel this way, like this, or you can travel this way like this, no problem. Right? So it's understanding your dimensional body is everything through chakra system. It's clocking its system to all levels of its connection. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 7 track line centers. Okay. Each chakra, even though it doesn't connect to line center to position locations, it always has a center line system to the center location, everything through its track system, through center location. And so you understand the water levels, sea levels to the chakra system. So if they're merging off, it's not good, is it? See, you're not traveling through it, are you? It's merging off. It's changing the shape and it's clocking. Okay? So you have to stay in the grounds of everything. Every chakra has a ground. Okay? The crown chakra has to have a ground. Your throat has to have a ground. The ground formation is the base, the tree of the stump. And then you come into the roots. These are the roots. Right? These are the roots. But you have to be in the calculation modification of your mass, right? Of your travel connections. You come into that positions, you can high force right straight up without merging off into space position location. All right? It's a lot of work that we need to do, right? But the structure is already created. You just have to follow these things, right? So it's important why we connect to more of our thoughts. Because when you're traveling through your thoughts and you're creating these things, space and time is connected to you through DNA, right? And it's all about using your thoughts. And if you're going faster, 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 you're going faster, faster, faster through realms and portals and dimensions and codes. And, it's all about where you are, how fast your thoughts are going. But as soon as you change your thought, you're changing mass calculation of its direction. All right. So, all right, just back forcing here. See if I missed any of your questions. Use your judgment there, Wheeling. You come into that position line connections. Your connection to high level system is your AI position location. So everything is fabricated to the line system. Okay. Just be cautious in what you believe and what you see and what you hear. That's all you got to do. It's knowing better. It's just being prepared of what happens next with you every time you wake up. You're in a central line system. Everything's the allocation of time. You have to protect yourself every single time you communicate with your thoughts through the mind system, because the mind comes more real every time you rise to higher levels of the programs. Okay, so become more aware of everything around you through perception, and then you start seeing these things like you saw me in my YouTube, and you saw an orb coming in like this and then disappearing, guys. You saw. That's proof right there. What space and time is. Once you come into full communication, space and time, these are the things that you start seeing, right? And it's connection stuff. So I'm going to head over to TikTok. All right. You have any questions or comments? You want to go into Healing Line Center, depositions, you want to get more into questions, let me know. You can also click the button on my TikTok, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. All right. Adios.